When I was in my 30s, I thought I had time for everything. I believed I could stretch the days, juggle every dream, run toward every ambition, and fix every mistake later. Now that I'm 63, I look back at those years and see them with a kind of reverence, because what I didn't understand back then was just how loudly time moves forward in silence. And if you're in your 30s, please hear me when I say this. Your life will not wait for you to start valuing it. Time does not knock politely. It races forward whether you pay attention or not. You think you'll always have the energy to do more tomorrow, but the most expensive currency you'll ever spend is not money. It's time, and you won't realize how recklessly you spend it until it's already gone. If I could walk beside you through your 30s, I would beg you to slow down, not to stop chasing your dreams, but to stop treating busyness like purpose. Some of the most important moments of your life will pass by unnoticed if you're always rushing towards something else. Don't spend a decade building a ladder only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. Learn to say no to things that do not bring peace. Learn to choose people over popularity, memories over materials, and presence over performance. I have lost friends chasing applause, and I have stayed up nights wondering if climbing the mountain was worth losing the view. You might think success is about proving yourself, getting the promotion, earning the praise, buying the house. But when you're older, you will measure success in quieter ways. The people who still call, the moments you didn't miss, the regrets you don't carry. Love louder. Forgive faster. Tell people what they mean to you while you can still see their face when you say it. Pride will keep your mouth shut in your 30s, but regret will scream in your 60s. Don't let small arguments build big walls. The people you take for granted today may not be here when you're finally ready to say sorry. Time is the most stubborn teacher. It gives the test before it teaches the lesson. I learned this too late. And no one told me in my 30s that peace would one day feel more important than passion. That being right would feel smaller than being kind. That chasing more would always leave you empty if you never learned to love less. I want you to know that saying no to what doesn't feed your soul is the bravest thing you can do. Learn to stop proving yourself to people who are too busy proving themselves to others. When you are young, you think clarity comes from answers, but the truth is, clarity comes from asking better questions. Who am I when no one is watching? What am I building that will still matter when I'm gone? Am I planting anything today that someone else might find shade in tomorrow? These are the questions that bring peace in old age. If you're always trying to be someone else, you will miss the person you were born to be. Stop comparing. Someone will always have more. More money, more fame, more success, but no one else will ever have your story. And your story matters. Your pain matters. Your joy matters. Your voice matters. Use it. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs the courage of the original you. At 63, I don't remember the trends I followed, the gossip I heard, or the opinions I tried to chase. I remember the days I was fully present. The long walks. The belly laughs. The quiet nights when I felt whole. You won't get to keep everything you collect, the cars, the clothes, the clout, but you will carry every memory you make with you. So make better memories. Be where your feet are. Call your parents even if the call is short. Take photos, but don't miss the moment trying to capture it. Say thank you to the people who changed your life, even if it was just once. And be that person for someone else. Kindness is never wasted, even when it goes unnoticed. You think being strong means doing everything alone. It doesn't. Real strength is knowing when to ask for help, when to say you're tired, when to admit you're still learning. There is no medal for suffering in silence. I spent years pretending I was fine, wearing masks to keep others comfortable, but I've learned that vulnerability is not weakness. It's the birthplace of connection. If you want deep relationships, you'll have to risk being seen. Show up messy. Show up uncertain. But show up anyway. People won't remember your perfection. They'll remember your presence. In your 30s, everyone is running toward careers, away from pain, into expectations. But very few are truly arriving. You'll never find contentment in a destination if you never learn to be still where you are. And here's something no one told me when I was younger. Rest is productive. Silence is healing. Solitude is sacred. You don't have to earn rest. You are worthy even when you're not achieving. Build a life that feels good on the inside, not just one that looks good on the outside. I've met people who had everything, and still felt like nothing. And I've met those who had little, but lived like kings. Joy is not something you find, it's something you create. Every day you wake up is a blank canvas. Don't let fear hold the brush. Paint something bold. Make mistakes. Start over. Be brave enough to do things before you're ready. At 63, I'm not impressed by speed. I'm impressed by those who kept going when no one clapped, who stayed kind when the world was cruel, who held on to themselves even when others tried to change them. In your 30s, build the kind of life your future self will be proud to inherit. Not perfect. Not loud. Just honest, intentional, and yours. Chase dreams, yes, but don't miss the dream that's already in front of you. You are already living a story that someone else is praying for. Don't waste it. And if you're still listening, still curious, still holding on to this thread of truth, then please keep going, because what I'm about to share with you isn't in any textbook, and it won't be taught in boardrooms, or shouted on social media, or packaged in a podcast clip that tries to summarize life in 30 seconds. These are lessons that only time can gift, and only those who've lived long enough, lost deeply enough, loved widely enough, and slowed down honestly enough can understand. In your 30s, you will be tempted to believe that life is a race. A race for love, for money, for milestones. But the truth is, life is not a race, it's a rhythm. And when you live by rhythm, you stop comparing your beat to someone else's song. You learn that rushing leads to regret, that hurry often hides emptiness, and that peace moves at a slower pace. Don't rush into marriage just because your friends are posting rings. Don't take jobs just because they sound impressive. Don't buy things to prove worth. Make your decisions from alignment, not anxiety. Learn the difference between loneliness and solitude. One drains you, the other fills you. Get comfortable being alone, because if you can't enjoy your own company, you'll settle for the wrong ones just to avoid silence. I wish someone had told me that sooner. I wish I had known that some friendships are for a season, some are for a reason, and very few are for a lifetime. You will outgrow people, and people will outgrow you. That's not failure, that's growth. Don't chase people who no longer see you. Don't beg to stay where your soul has already left. And don't carry guilt for choosing peace over pleasing. In your 30s, your circle may shrink. Let it. Let it become deeper, not wider. Choose people who clap in private, not just in public. The ones who know your flaws and still fight for your dignity. That kind of loyalty is rare. Honor it. Be that for others, too. And remember, the way you treat people when you have nothing, and again when you have everything, says more about your character than your circumstances ever will. Titles will fade. Achievements will get outdated. But kindness, that will echo long after you're gone. Your character is your legacy. And speaking of legacy, let me tell you something I wish I'd grasped earlier. Legacy isn't what you leave behind when you die, it's what you give while you're alive. It's the smile you offer a stranger, the wisdom you whisper to a child, the time you give when it's inconvenient, the effort you make when no one sees. Legacy is built in the small moments, not the grand ones. And you don't have to be famous to be remembered, just faithful to who you are. Stop trying to be impressive. Start trying to be real. The world has enough noise. What it needs is your truth. Not the filtered, polished, performative version of you, but the real, honest, unedited you. That version is magnetic. That version is free. In your 30s, you'll feel pressure to pretend, to smile through pain, to act like you've got it all together, to hide your doubts. But I'm telling you now, pretending is exhausting, and authenticity is the only path that leads to peace. Be bold enough to say, I don't know. Be brave enough to ask for help. Be gentle enough to admit when you're wrong. And be wise enough to walk away when something no longer feels right, even if you can't explain why. Your intuition is a quiet voice. Don't silence it with logic. Listen to your gut, not just your goals. Some of my biggest regrets came not from what I didn't know, but from what I knew deep down and chose to ignore. Trust yourself. You're wiser than you think. And when it comes to your time, protect it like gold. Because it is. You can always make more money, But you can never make more time. Every yes you say is a no to something else. So make your yes sacred. Don't give it away out of guilt or fear. Give it with joy, with purpose, with full intention. Be where your feet are. Put your phone down when someone's talking to you. Look people in the eye. Laugh from your belly. Cry without shame. Hug like you mean it. Live like it matters, because it does. Your story matters. Even when it's messy. Even when it's unfinished. Even when you don't know where it's going. Keep writing anyway. You don't have to have a 5-year plan, just a 5-minute heart. Who do I want to be in this moment? How can I show up with love, with truth, with grace? Ask those questions more often than you ask how much something pays, how you're being perceived, or what people will think. Because the people who are truly aligned with your spirit, they won't leave when you change. They'll cheer because you grew. And let me tell you, growth isn't linear. Some seasons are about blooming. Some are about breaking. Some are quiet. Some are chaotic. But all are necessary. Honor them all. Don't resist the slow chapters. That's where the roots grow. Don't fear the dark seasons. That's where depth is born. Don't resent the waiting. That's where character is carved. The tree doesn't bear fruit every season, but it's still alive, still becoming, still reaching for the sun. So are you.